Hello and welcome to another in-session piece, and this time around I'm at the famous Bluebell complex and I'm going to be fishing on Swan Lake. Now Swan is one of the more notoriously difficult venues on the complex. It's not overly big and it is extremely pressured, so the carp in here have seen absolutely everything. Now I have only ever fished Swan on one occasion before. I done one quick overnighter, so to speak, one bite, and I had a fish called two-tone at over 40 pounds. So there's so many big fish in here to go at. In fact, there is a carp swimming around in here called Dave that would currently beat my UK personal best. So every single bite from a lake like Swan is very, very well earned, and it's very, very creditable. Now I did get down yesterday, it's Monday today. I got down yesterday with the intention of a lot more people packing up than what actually ended up packing away. With the weather that we got coming for this week, I wanted to make sure that I could get down here, and there was a particular area of the lake that I had in mind. And even though I've only fished it on one occasion before, with the way that the weather's going to come in, this end of the lake that I'm in now, the wider end, I sort of had a bit of an inkling that this is where the fish are going to turn up. Like I say, I arrived yesterday, wasn't able to get where I wanted to go. A lot more guys decided to stay on that extra night than what I first anticipated. So I just set up in a peg further up the lake, chucked the rods out, still put them out, you know, properly, as if I was trying to catch a fish. There's no point just chucking a night away, certainly if you've got a swim where you can get the rods out. And then I waited. And then it's mid-afternoon now. The guy in here is just packed away. The weather's thrown all sorts at us. 1 minute it's nice and sunny, next minute it's windy and raining, but I've managed to get the bivvy up. I found a couple of spots. The rods are now out there, and like I say, any bite out of Swan is very, very well earned, and there is so many special carp. So hopefully throughout this video, I can not only show you how to fish Swan, but also show you a couple of its lovely inhabitants as well. The particular peg that I'm fishing in now is swim 1. Now for those of you that have been here before, you'll know where that is, but for those of you that haven't, swim 1 is down the first end of Swan that you get to. It's the widest part of the lake, and it is an end peg. Now to my right hand side, I've got a real long stretch of margin where there's no fishing at all. It's all reed lined, and the 2 times that I've been here, this time and the time before, the fish have shown right up against those reeds both times. It's a bit of a safe haven. There's only 2 swims that fish up to it, and the rest of the lake is pretty busy majority of the time, and it's a bit of a safe area where I think the fish can just go and hide away. But one thing that I'm not going to be doing on this particular trip is fishing right up against it. Now it may sound mad, but the lake is exceptionally busy. The last thing that I want to be doing is putting rods right in amongst an area where the fish feel safe. I know that if I come a little way off of the reeds, and I found a spot probably 4 or 5 rod lengths off, it's nice and firm. It gives the fish a lot of room to move to the right hand side of me, and I'm hoping that when the wind picks up this forecast, they're going to sort of sit to the right of where I am, and I can almost control how much pressure I put on those fish. And like I've already said, these fish are exceptionally pressured. You can use a bait boat on here, obviously you can cast on here as well. So a majority of the anglers, 99.9% of the time, are always fishing effectively, certainly when you're using a boat. So these fish have seen absolutely everything. But since I've been in the peg as well, round to the right hand side in the margin, I have seen a couple of fish show. Now normally the outside of the Bluebell Lake, so to speak, angler in me would not put a rod there. It would be one of them, oh, I've seen a fish, so I'm not really going to bother. But this type of lake, everyone wants to go out into the middle, and it just leaves the margin so much quieter. So I've had a little lead around, and I found a real small little spot. I did have a bit of an issue when I was leading up, in the sense that every time I pulled the lead back, it was almost getting caught behind something. Then there's a lot of boulders on the end of the lake that I'm fishing up against the margin, and I reckon what it is one of them's rolled into the water, and where the fish have used it to rub around, I feel they've created a bit of a clear spot around it. So what I've done is I've pulled the lead basically until it's gone solid behind whatever I'm fishing up against, clipped it, and then I'm going to drop a rod just over the back of it in the clearing. But what I will do is I'll fish it with a little bit of a looser clutch. So if I do get a bite and I do hook a fish, it's going to bolt away from it and it's going to go away from the danger. But like I say, I have seen fish in there, and I'm pretty sure that it's probably an area of the lake that not many people would put a rig. So it's just about keeping my options open. So I'm going to go 2 out off the reeds, 4 or 5 rod lengths off the reeds, and I'm going to put 1 down to the right hand side, and I'm just going to wait for this weather to arrive. And hopefully it's textbook weather. The fish should follow it. They should turn up on this wind. But you know what carp fishing's like. Certainly at this time of year, the fish do bizarre things. So for now, the rods are out, we're sorted. That's the peg that I'm in, and you never know one of them might just rip off. I'm in to a fish. I've just moved into this peg, and down to the right is a bay, and we see a couple of fish. I had a few flicks with a lead. I thought rather than messing around trying to cast a rig and get it bang on the spot, I just put it in the boat, dropped it down, and it's gone. It absolutely ripped off, and all my heart is in my mouth. So I'm going to concentrate on playing this one in, because it's really weedy in the margin. But that did not take long at all. The weed is quite savage here. Wade out for it, all right? Go on, no messing. Yes! Get in there, you pig! Yes! Yes! A Swan Lake carp. That will do. I even waded in for it. That one won't get in the way, I'll tell you that for nothing. Trip maker, absolute session maker. A Swan common. God. Right, let's have a look. There we go. That'll do. 26 pounds. 12 ounces. Haha, yes. Well, here we go. Look at that. I might have spent a night waiting to get in a peg, but getting in that peg has certainly paid off. I see a couple of fish though, just round to the right-hand side in the margin. A lot of the places that I fish, I probably wouldn't have even bothered putting a rig there, but flicked a lead out, found a clear spot, put a rod down there. Look at this, just under 27 pound of Swan Lake common carp. And to think that in this lake, they go to twice the size of this. You just never know what that next bite is gonna be. But all I do know is getting one out of Swan is a major achievement on only my second ever night that I fished on the venue. Unbelievable start to the trip. Let's hope it continues. Oh, it's blowing out here now. Off you go, big old girl. That'll do for me. That'll do for me. Whoa, windy.